All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops. Coach, I'm
Coach.
two cups of coffee in, so I
Yeah,
am
I know.
ready to go.
I maybe have to get up and get my,
I know
you know
we'll
where
have
I
to do
bought
that.
this mug? Do you remember where I bought this mug? See that mug? I'm holding up my mug. It's a black mug with a big orange
You
basketball.
bought it in Wisconsin,
I did at a thrift store. Just happened to
really?
see it in there. It was the only mug, and I'm like, it was $1. I'm like, yeah, get that mug. What does that one say?
This mug cost me like
Me
a
too.
$100,000, not quite, probably less than that. But
Explain what that mug is for our
I'm
listeners and
holding
not
up
our viewers.
I'm holding up a Middlebury mug. My son goes to Middlebury College, so anyway.
My son brought home a cap for me from his school, and I said the same. That was a what is that? $40,000 a year. That hat cost me 40 grand right there. Damn.
Hey, I forgot you sent me a picture of your family from the wedding. You have a good-looking family. You got to thank your wife for that. Like you have
I
they're
know, right?
sharp. Like it's,
It's
it's
all
like
her, 100%.
I know. And
I definitely married up.
and you had were you like in the wedding? Were you in the wedding
I was in
party?
the wedding. Yeah,
Okay.
I was in the wedding
Okay.
party. Yeah, yeah.
Because you had
My
kind of a
nephew got
unique
married.
outfit on a little bit. Yeah, well, you
Correct.
had
Yeah.
yeah,
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 yeah, because I was wearing a tux
yeah,
without a jacket. They didn't have
right.
jackets, which was kind of cool. It was nice. They said
It's
the
not
vest.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm my niece is getting married in outside of outside of Napa in
Really?
Yeah, anyway, in June or something.
Sausalito? Is
Cecil,
it
it's a little
Sausalito
town.
or Saratoga?
And that's not Saratoga. It's out in outside of Napa, I think. No, in Colorado.
Why
She's getting married
Saratoga?
in Colorado. It's outside of
Oh,
Breckenridge. It's like 30 minutes hour. Anyway, doesn't
okay.
matter. And we were supposed to wear a specific kind of like cowboy tie or something, whatever those are
Oh
called,
yeah, with the two
Yeah, I don't know.
string.
They
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
specific name, so it's like, oh, that'll be
Yeah, I
fun.
don't know what they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, excited about that. All right. So we're talking about, first of all, big shout out to GC, Game Changer. We like Game
Game
Changer.
changer.
I
Yeah.
know.
Coaches, check
Um,
out Game Changer. Go to gc.com/coaching youth hoops. If you are in need of an app to track film your games, track stats, provide feedback to your players. This is a great learning tool, gc.com/coaching youth hoops that you can use to boost your players' IQ. You can annotate video, show them back coach, I did this. Well, no, here's the film. Film don't lie.
no, you didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
All right. And so today we're talking about kind of practice a little bit, and getting more done in practice. You know, you can always go over to Coaching Youth Hoops if you're looking for practice plans, right, Coach? Before we dive
Yeah,
into it.
absolutely. Go to coachingyouthhoops.com and find a practice plan that fits your age, the age that you're coaching. And we have a variety of different drills. Well, I should talk, the practice plans come with a variety of different drills and videos and explanations, constraints built in. So you're spending less time teaching and more time having the kids play. Uh, so check it out at Coaching Youth Hoops, all kinds of resources over there.
Okay, so
But yeah,
this was
getting more done in practice. Oh,
yes.
sorry, coach. I was going to say this came up a lot. I think this is a huge struggle for youth coaches. They have the feedback that I got and the struggle that they were sharing with me was we have one practice and then our first game, or we only have two practices a week that are 60 minutes, or we have one practice that are 90 minutes. Basically, it comes down to we have limited practice time. How are we supposed to get everything in that these kids need? And the short answer, you won't. I mean, and you just gotta, and it's so frustrating. I've been there, I'm there today. The kids need so much work. A lot of them are not, they're not spending time on their own learning those skills. So what do you do? How do you get more done in practice?
It's a great question, Coach. It is because it's like there is, I think using you got to think of it in terms of a piece of pie, right? Practice is a
Hmm.
piece of pie, and you have 100%. There's my hearts again.
Hmm.
And how do you break that up? Like, what part of that is game based? What part of that is fundamental based? What part of that is full court based? What part of that is shooting specific skill based? I mean, I think
Mhm.
those are important things to really dive into in terms of your specific team, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. So what the way I think about that is I divide the practice up into, we have a warm up, and depends how much time I'm spending is, how long I have 90-minute practices 2 times a week. So I have my warm up. I have I then I this is where I okay, what do we need more work on? Offense or defense, transition to offense, transition to defense. I'll put that next. But basically, the structure is this: it's skill work in the beginning, or it's warm up, and then some skill work. Whatever skill we need to work on, or skills that I feel that our team really needs. If it's rebounding specific, shooting specific, footwork, ball handling, then we go into offense, transition to offense,
Okay.
transition to defense, and then the scrimmage. And that's how we lay the practice plan out. So I know that, okay, every aspect of the game at least is going to be covered in my 90-minute practice. Is it going to be perfect? No. Are they going to execute perfectly? No, but I have it covered. They got a little bit better today. But I do prioritize, what does my team need now? Think about it, the acronym, right? Win. What's important now? That right, and
That.
focus there.
I know you
Yeah,
love acronym. You love
I
those.
do. It's just what I think, and I can
And how
say
did
it
you
really
come up
quickly
with
without
that
saying.
window of how to break practice down? How did you do that? Because
I
sometimes
think
I'll
that I
do it in
got that from
terms, huh?
I got that from you.
You did.
Well, because you broke the game down that way, and I'm like, oh, wait a second. You're either in one of those stages of offense, defense, transition to offense, transition to defense,
Right. And
transition to
most
offense.
people only
So
work on two stages.
offense and defense.
They do. They don't work on the transition to the other team. I
Yeah,
think
we're going
that's been one of
transition.
my
Yeah.
secret sauces over the years is you got to work on that transition, those other two transitions. And some coaches only work on those.
Well,
You never do
some
any.
code. I always complain about this is the transition, or their defense, right? Full court defense, right?
Right.
So they're in that's transition. That's still, would that, yeah, that would be considered transition to defense. I was thinking through that. That because they just want to win the game, and they're not focused on getting the kids better. They're just focused on the win. So they do full court press all the time. So they'll spend a lot more time on there, and their press is their offense. And don't get me on my soapbox on that one.
Right.
Uh, but if you break the game down that way, and then divide it up into minutes, and minutes can be equal minutes. I'm going to spend 10 minutes or 20 minutes on each of those blocks. Obviously, they can be a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how much time you have and what your needs are. But if you kind of go through that and have this structure, it's going to make your life a lot easier, and you're going to have, 'cause again, I struggled with that when I didn't have a plan, when I didn't have a good structure or framework for practice. I always felt like, oh, I didn't do this and I didn't do that, and at least I'm attempting to fill those gaps in.
Right. Right. And I try to change things up too sometimes with practice as far as the breakup. I sometimes try to do it in terms of a game. If you play 4 quarters, I'll break it up literally into
Hmm,
quarters.
another
We
good structure.
we
Yeah.
play half. I just try to give variety, variety in drills, but also variety in, you know, um, kind of how we break it. So I'll like I've done it where they get 5 timeouts, 3 30s
Hmm,
and 2 fulls.
yeah.
And they can call them whenever they want. I let them call them if they need a break.
Yeah.
And we'll literally go in the locker room at halftime. And it's like, okay, here's the first half of practice. What went well? What didn't go well? What do we have to adjust? Blah, blah, blah. And I won't stay in there for 10 minutes like a normal halftime or 8 minutes, but I'll sit in there for 4 or 5 and go, well, I think we're doing this well. We're not really helping here. So it also allows me to do some teaching. Um, we'll do some quick teaching in between quarters. So just another structure, another way of kind of getting more done because it's giving you some variety as far as that goes. Just another
Hmm.
thought as far as, yeah, things to think about.
Yeah, and if you go back to our previous podcast talking about how to keep players engaged. This is really important too, because you're gonna if the more you discipline, right, the more you have to stop practice because of behavior issues, the more or the less you're going to get done. So go back and listen to that particular episode as well, because it's talking about keeping practice moving, talking less, mix of it, mix of instructions and play, less lines, right? All of
Yeah.
that stuff is part of getting more done in practice.
Yeah. I mean, it's just on a regular basis. You just got to do it more on a regular basis. All right. Anything else, coach?
Well, and I think the big takeaways here is yes, you are limited in time, right? And I'm sure, you have practiced 6 days a week for an hour and a half, and you still run out of time, right? So,
On a regular
it's all
basis.
relative.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a youth coach, 2 practices, max probably per week. Maybe if you're lucky, you have an hour and a half. Uh, I know a lot of listeners only have an hour, but just have a structure going into practice. Focus on what your team absolutely needs and make sure that is covered. And when you're practicing offense, you can also be practicing defense. When you're practicing, you should offense, you're practicing ball handling. So overlap on skills that you're teaching and you're focused on, so that you're working on both sides of the ball, or you're working on more skill work as well. So that will help you get more done in practice.
That. And where can they find good practice plans, coach?
coachingyouthhoops.com.
Yes, go over and check it out. Coachingyouthhoops.com. It keeps the lights on, you know.
Appreciate you, coach.
We do. We do. All
It
right.
is
All right. We
well,
appreciate all of you. Till next week, coach.
till next week.